they held teleconferences where they used big phrases like licensing, trademarks, franchises, and they talked about things like getting set up with their corporate structure, getting the phone line system, get the free phone number. They sold these franchises for 30 grand a pop. What does the franchise do? It allows you to use their name to go out and sell their business model. And the advertisers paying 300 bucks a pop or 350 or whatever you can get, using their numbers in this list of so-called active readers. Crazy. I mean, and so they have to make you think that you're doing busy work that matters, if you're going to spend 30 grand. So they have to give you enough stuff for you to feel like you bought 30 grand worth of stuff. I mean, it's all crazy, just crazy. That's where we learn something new now. And I don't even have an exact word for it other than, what do I want to say? I want to say something like, tricked out. Now, gosh, I want to say forced inefficiency, something like that, but that's not going to make the point. Overpresence, something like that. They create more elements to the system than necessary. Always question that. They created a whole franchising concept on something that was nothing more than stupid affiliate links would have sufficed. Maybe a new domain name that forwards to your affiliate link would have sufficed. But no, they had to throw in a whole corporate structure, a copy of your right to resell the product, making it look like a diploma or something official that they hand mail you in a leather binder. They give you the right maybe to plug into their phone network and use their phone line, so you can do it through their phone line from anywhere in the world without you paying a dime. And it's easy enough for them to control the phone line costs because they would probably use voice over IP, that kind of thing, make it cheap. Communications aren't expensive anymore. And so beware of that. I spent something like $16,000 once on an audio room, okay, audio video room, and had it connected up because we were all nuts about branding. It had to be ours, okay, big system we had, and we were crazy about it. And I spent 16,000 something on that just to have it installed and set up. And then I was paying $450 a month to use it. First, it was a bear to get going. And then we were using it, and the lady kept calling, talking about upgrading from our $450 a month package to more stuff. And we were actually spending the money for a while, okay, a few months. And then one day, somebody came up to me, and he just sent me a simple little question. Why not just use Hot Conference? It's got pretty much the same features. It was the first time I ever heard of Hot Conference before. Hot Conference. Hot Conference. And I came back and said, what's the cost? So it's like $44 a month or $40 a month or whatever it was. And he explained I had the same features. And I couldn't believe it. And so I said, let's do an apples to apples comparison. Got somebody or someone else or a couple guys or whatever sit down and compare. And I flat out asked the sales lady, can you please give me a list of all the features that I could upgrade to? So that she goes, oh, fine. So she sends me the features with the pricing. And we flat out compared them. And we realized, why in the world are we sticking with this service? All right, so 44 bucks a month versus 450 one month pays for 10. 10 months Hot Conference for the price of 1 month. Now, man, that lady, like I said, kept calling back. All right, the lady kept calling back, trying to get me to upsell. And one day she got me, and she was not happy with what she heard. I could tell all of a sudden, because she went into panic mode, that part of her paycheck was based on me buying. Because I told her, hey, we'd like to go ahead and drop your service. And she's like, why? And we said, because we found Hot Conference. It costs $44 a month, and when we did a features to features comparison, they have everything we need, and there's not much more that you offer. I paused and waited for her, and she tried to use this finally. She said, after you sink 16,000 into something and then you're spending 450 a month on it, well, she just kind of stuck with, after you put a large investment into something, you should protect it, right? Keep it going, build on it. You don't want to lose it. You don't want to throw all that money away. Now, if I'd have been nuts and I was worried about nickels, reaching back and trying to snatch nickels from every dollar, what would I be saying? What would I do? I would mentally believe her. I would actually go that route if I didn't know better. But I grinned and said, no, ma'am, it's not about what I spent in the past on anything. It's about what I marginally spend moving forward. Past expenses fade. You bought a car, cost you some number of grand, and you don't mind that because you know how to use it. And sooner or later you have it paid off. But you don't really think about it much unless you're paying for the car on payments. But a used car for a couple of grand that you actually bought with cash or something like that, you're not making payments on it. You've been driving it for a while though. You don't mind. You bought a computer, you probably put at least a grand into it. Look at your computer right now and tell me that you're reminded of the grand now that you spent on it then. You're not. The cost faded in your mind's eye. If you remember the cost of your computer, look at the table it's sitting on. Do you think of the cost of the table every day? Really? Are you still mindful of exactly how much you spent to get that? Can you remember how much you spent to get that table? Right? What about the fax machine over to one side? What about the lamp in the chair? Do you really remember these things? No, they fade into the past. Past monies are gone. They're gone. It's what you spend next that has to do with your bank account today, right? And so I told the ladies the marginal cost going forward. I don't care if Hot Conference would have cost $1,000 to set up and then 44 a month. You can do the math. 2 months of the same service would have been 900 bucks. And then after that, 44 a month. Well, heck, man. I mean, if I were to pump in something like even 1,250 bucks, what would the difference? Yeah, 3 months of the service I was on would come to 1,350. Well, if it cost me a grand to set up Hot Conference, which it didn't, it was no grand, then I would still have 350, and 350 would cover, what is that? Well, what, a 40 into 350, almost 9 months, like 8.5 months, right? The difference is obvious, and that's how you think about costs. Okay. So anyway, now you understand probably a lot more yet about how to evaluate concepts and think about things. Don't get into the service that talks in big terms like licensing and franchises and stuff. And at the same time, don't keep looking back and thinking you have to protect things you've been spending money on. For the same reason, don't look back at what you're selling and think it must be the thing you sell tomorrow. Okay, you can turn around and sell whatever you want. It doesn't take you but a couple of hours to research it, know it well, and next thing you know, you're selling it. Okay, the major points on anything, if you find it interesting, somebody else will too. There's no reason to think I have to sell this. I had a guy who was selling cataract eye drops, to dissolve your cataracts in your eye. And the guy made a little money per sale. And I turned around one day and I thought to myself, what the heck, man? Because he didn't have that much traffic, because there really isn't that big a market for it that finds him. Older folks online doing searches for alternatives to cataract surgery. And cataract surgery has gotten very safe these days. And yet that was this guy's big thing. And I said, hey, what else can we sell that relates to your product that's helpful? I says, are any, for people for whom this product does not work, I says, is there anything they can do to help this product work better? You say, yeah, actually. He said, in the cases where it doesn't work, it's almost always guys have diabetes. You see, diabetes builds cataracts, and they work directly against cataract. As much as you're dissolving it down, your diabetes are building it right back up. I said, well, for crying out loud, I said, do you know any diabetic medications that you would recommend? I said, oh, sure. And he rattled off a list of them. I said, are any of them online that you could sell? Somebody you could come up with a deal with and you could sell his and get a cut. Or maybe somebody even has an affiliate program for it. He goes, gee, I don't know. And I thought, that's amazing, just amazing. Because diabetes is one of the most searched things on the internet. If we go look up a diabetes graph on Google Trends and we look for related diabetes terms and we compare it to anything else, even make money, which you'd imagine everybody's typed into Google at one time or another. All right, compare those graphs. Diabetes outshines most things on the internet. It's so huge. All right, and there are people looking for medications and pills and quick ways and helpful ways out of diabetes all the time. This guy never ever thought, and so I told him, take a look. Hey, and I showed him the whole thing. The guy didn't really understand affiliate program. I got him through it and got him to the point of understanding, okay, we're going to put this link up on your site. So the diabetes stuff on the site. He's like, great, wonderful. And he started to make a lot of money. Well, no, not yet. But what he said before, he started to make a lot of money off of those side sales, which added directly. You know what he said? He said, yes, I see it. And here's what he said that blew my mind. He said, but we really are in the cataract eye drop business. He goes, we're selling cataract eye drops. But we can't forget that we're out to make money too. That's true.